Hello everybody. Alright, well where we're at now is we just did the text example with the last video. Well, what I did now is I've integrated the text into my into my program. So I did added a bunch of extra includes, and here it is. It's right here. This is pretty much all I had to do once I encapsulated the and there's a bug with the Visual Studio why it's not recognizing all this stuff works, but it compiles just fine. So I put all this stuff into the text class stuff.h, made a text stuff class. Everything's public, so I'm not really worried about anything just yet. Not worried about privatizationing the variables. Anyways, so there's the characters that the font loads, there's the shader ID, excuse me, and the vertex area object, vertex buffer object, okay? This one was a little tricky, the render text, which we're still going to work on, but it works great for now. And there's an init function. Okay, so the render text is right in here. And it does that. We had to change, remember, the shader ID and all that fun stuff. That's part of the class now. See, so the shader ID is actually part of the class. And so render text is basically unchanged. We are going to change it, possibly. I'll show you why we might not. And then here's the init. Basically, I just copied and pasted the code. I took this out of its own class. I probably could have left the shader class in its own class, but I took the shader class out and basically put that in here. So loading the shaders from file is now included in here. And I just did it manually. I didn't do the shader instantiation, the class and all that stuff here. I took it out, commented it out. Okay, so everything's in here. La-di-dee, la-di-da. And it's a really great explanation on learnopengl.org of what they do and how it goes through, and it loads all the faces and does it all in advance, which is really cool, kind of like a sine cosine lookup table, which is awesome. Then it configures the VAO and the VBO and stuff like that, and we're going to look at doing some different stuff with that. Not right away, but eventually, to optimize things. So that's the text class stuff.h, okay, which is basically copying and pasting all that stuff from the example, except for the stuff that was duplicated and that we did not need. So here it is, freet.init. Just call it after OpenGL.init, okay? And then we come down here into our game loop, and I had a little bit of fun with the render text and some of the string numerical value to string conversions. But if you're following this loop right here, the I, if you will, or the X goes from 0 to 1920. It increments of 50, and the J goes from 0 to 180, increments of 40, and it prints this text right here, which is the I component or the X component, plus a comma, plus the Y component, and then it puts it at that location on the screen. That's the size, and then that's the color. And when we run this, this is the result. And you can see my background planetary rings are still there, which is great, and I can change those, and they're still there. And I can move them around and stuff. Or wait, can we still move them around? Yeah, it's just really slow. That's cool. Or maybe I took that functionality out? I don't recall. Huh, it's being funny. Anyways, so you can see, I wish my mouse cursor showed, but it doesn't. As you go from left to right, the X coordinate goes up, and then as you go from bottom to top, the Y coordinate goes up. So this shows me basically where every coordinate is on the screen, and I can use this to map out my GUI and map out my I can, basically what I still have to do is figure out how to turn these numbers into the normalized device coordinates, which I use. But give me a few hours to fix that and we'll get it. Anyways, so that is all for this particular video. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave comments in the section below the video.